Hey guys, Duality William Bryce here with another belt review. So this video is actually going to be the first installment in my retro review series. So what that means is I'm taking belts that are older, quite frankly, belts that either I or one of my close friends has had for years, and taking a look at them specifically to see how they've lasted over the years. Now the reason I'm doing this is twofold. One is because if you're buying these belts, especially at $400 a pop, chances are you want to hang on to them for quite a while, and maybe you want to see how they're going to last over that while. The other reason is because, honestly, these belts are expensive. I can't afford to buy a brand new one every time I want to put new content out. So this is a little bit of a fun way for me to put some more content out there, but to show you the belts that I've either had or that my friends have had and how they've lasted over the years. So as you see, we have the original WWE Undisputed Championship. Now, fun story about this one is this actually used to be my championship belt. I mean, not mine. I didn't win it by pinning The Undertaker or Hulk Hogan, but I did buy it on eBay. So paying $200 makes it mine. So as I grew my belt collection, I had to make space for the new belts I was bringing in. That meant getting rid of some, and of course I wanted to sell them. I wanted to help fund my new belts, but also create space. And it was awesome because one of my best friends, shout out to Caleb, actually never had one of these belts before. So I sold it to him, and he has actually lent it back to me to let me do this video. So as I said before, I actually bought this one on eBay probably about somewhere between 7 and 10 years ago. So even just in mine and my friend's possession, this belt is at least 10 years old. And God knows how long the person had it before me. Now, of course, with it being an older belt, there's a lot of wear on it. There's no doubt about that. That's part of the reason I'm doing these videos. You can probably even see some of the polyurethane that's worn down, especially at the points where the belt bends. Now, we'll look at that a little bit closer in a little bit, but of course, one thing I want to show off is the flexibility of the belts. As frequent viewers know, I always talk about the flexibility of the belts. Now with these belts, even when you buy their modern counterpart, they're still made out of that polyurethane. So they're more flexible than the faux leather that we see on some of the NXT belts from the shop, but they're not quite as flexible as real leather, which you're going to get if you go to somebody like Paul Martin. But between the fact that it's polyurethane and just the age of it, you can see it bends quite nicely. It actually feels quite nice still, even after all this time, right over my shoulder. Same goes with if I'm going to hold it up for, of course, the champion's pose. Very flexible. It's basically as flexible as a leather belt because it's been worn down. Now, of course, that comes with some visual defects, but once again, that is due to the age. Now, when I got this belt, I was still so happy because this was my favorite belt design for the longest time. Now it has been usurped, or however that word is said. It has been knocked off of its high mountaintop, so to speak. Great video quality, by the way. By some other belts in, you can probably guess, a lot of the NXT belts, which have become my favorites over the last few years. So next, we're going to take a little bit of a closer look at this belt and see some closer details as to how it's worn over the 10 or 15 years that it's been around. So as for the close-up section of this video, you'll see immediately much more wear and tear that you may have seen in the first part of the video. As we close in here, you'll see that at the bend points especially, the fabric has started to bubble a little bit. And with that being said, once again, this belt is 10, 15, maybe even 20 years old, so I'm not too surprised with that, and I can't even really be angry about it. In the spots where it hasn't been bent, it's actually holding up very nicely. Over here by the snaps, every single snap is fine, nothing's wrong with it. All the plates are still fine. We still have a little bit of wearing on the paint or whatever they use. Up here you can see the black coming off the edges. Now, here's a cool little tidbit on the main plate. When I bought this belt, part of the reason I got it for $200 10 years ago was because one of these jewels was missing. Fun little fact. Hobby Lobby, maybe even your local hobby store, will have little plastic or acrylic gems like this. I got one, glued it. I'll be honest, I don't even remember which one I replaced. So, in case you ever miss a jewel from your belt, just look online, look at your local hobby store. Probably won't be hard to find. Now, one thing I will point out is I did, in my not so smart in this, paint in the word entertainment with a gold paint pen. So if you're wondering why it looks like that, that's because of me. That did not come from the factory. It did not come to me like that or anything. Of course, we have the main plate, which is or the name plate, which is removable. And over on this side, just kind of more of the same. We're seeing the bubbling up where the belt bends, especially by the main plate and side plates, which, not to be repetitive, I think is to be expected. And then on the back end, now you guys won't be too surprised by this, we have the official WWE certificate patch on the back. It does say 2002. That could be the day that it was manufactured. It could just be the copyright date, quite frankly. And we still see a little bit more of the bends and the bubbling in the material where it's been bent over the years. But honestly, it's one of those, if it's not broke, don't fix it. They still use the same screw system, both for the main plates and side plates. But overall, given the age of this belt, I think it's held up quite nicely. As you guys saw, quite a bit of wear and tear on this belt over the years. Now, a lot of that, once again, I don't know how the owner before me treated it. I, quite frankly, don't remember how beat up it was when I got it. And a lot of what's happened with this belt is at the bend points is where it wears the most. That goes both for the material, but also for the ways that the plates dig into the strap itself. And honestly, I think a lot of that is to be expected. With how old this belt is and how much I've picked it up and played with it back when it was my belt, back when it was my only championship belt. I really can't say that I'm upset or disappointed. I actually think that for a belt that's at least 10 years, probably 15 years, and could be upwards of 20 years old, I'm actually quite happy with it, and I know that my friend is quite happy with it still. That being said, I still always go back to the previous things I brought up in my other videos. You really have to look at the material of the strap itself, because that's going to determine how flexible it is, how it feels, how it sits on your shoulders, even how it wraps around your waist. That being said, I don't expect everybody to go out and buy a real leather strap for every championship belt they buy, especially because the belt itself is normally $300 to $400, and the leather strap could be $400, $500, $600. You're looking at having a $700 or $800 per belt. And if you want to have a collection like I do, which isn't even that big compared to some that I've seen online, it's going to get really expensive really quick. So polyurethane, not a bad strap and not bad to last 10, 15, 20 years. So, in summary, old belt, very flexible, pretty beat up, but I'm still happy with it. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know how long you guys have had your belts, because I really, really am interested to know how they've held up over the years. Have they held up better than this one? Were they mostly on display? Did you get them out every time that there was a pay-per-view? Did your kids play with them? Did your dogs get to them? Let me know, because I'm really fascinated by it. As usual, thank you guys for supporting me. Smash that like, smash that subscribe, Hulk smash everything. And definitely be on the lookout. Let me know, do you guys like these videos? Do you want me to do more of the retro reviews? What other content would you guys like to see me put out there? Because it's really getting to the point where I have to vary it up, because I'm not buying a new belt anytime soon. But I got a couple things on the horizon that I think you guys will still find entertaining. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, please share, please subscribe in all seriousness. It helps me out a lot, especially with YouTube being the way that YouTube is. And definitely follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. But until then, I'll see you guys later.